Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing a weekend what sold video. I feel like for me, December was a super blur. I had just gotten back to the US after being out of the country for 6 months and just getting back into life, not working full time. So January has really been my first full time back to reselling, and I'd say I'm like medium happy with how it's been going. It could be better, but this month, January, I have seen my sales start to creep up back to full-time numbers. I'm not quite there yet, but as I'm putting in the consistent full-time work, the numbers are definitely increasing. So I'm here to share with you my weekend sales from Friday, January 16th, I think is the date, to Sunday the 18th. I did a total of $509 on Poshmark. I only sell on Poshmark right now. Feel free to yell at me down below, but I have. Anyway, okay. I have been listing 10 items consistently on the weekdays. This past weekend that I'm sharing the numbers for, I listed 3 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday, just because, needed some weekend time. And I'm back to listing 10 every day minimum. I'd like to get that higher. So I believe I either had 14 or 15 sales this weekend, some good high dollar sales, and then some, just barely getting my money back. So to start out, on Friday, the 16th, I only had 1 sale. And I think this was my worst sales day of the entire month, but this sale came at like 11:30 p.m. Friday. So I was just glad to get a sale. Oh, let me scooch. Which way do I want to scooch? Let's scooch this way so I can throw up what sold here. And I'm looking down at my computer. So I sold this Maj, it's not Mage, I think Maj, bikini top in a size large. I've had this listed for like at least a year, and I got an offer for $17. This swimwear brand, I don't want to say it's like hit or miss. It's a pretty high retail one. I think I can usually get around $20 for bikini tops. One pieces have sold for more for me in the past. So I think I think I had this listed at $35. They sent me a $17 offer. Since I've had it for a while, we're not even in swim season, and I needed a sale, I just hit accept. That gave me an earnings of $13.60. I picked this up at Last Chance, I'm assuming for $3 or $4, so that gives me a profit of less than $10. But, at least I made some money on Friday. So now we're going to get into the better sales. Okay, so on Saturday, January 17th, my first sale were these Cole Haan booties. These sat also for me for a while. It could possibly be because of the size. They were a size 5. These did sell for $35. They did sell on an offer, I think, for $35, and it was like a decent offer compared to how much I had it listed for, and they've been sitting for a while. So I was glad to get those out, especially in winter season, because I don't want to sit on them for like another year after this season. Those came from Last Chance. I'm assuming I had a cost of goods of about like $6. So my earnings are $28. That does put me at a profit of likely over $20. So I would prefer to make it faster than sitting on them for a couple years, but I'm still happy to make it over $20 profit. Next sale on Saturday the 17th, I sold this Jenny U Bridesmaid's dress. And this is a formal wear bridesmaids brand that I really like to sell. I feel like I used to pick them up at Last Chance, so I came across them more, and I haven't gotten one at Last Chance in a while. I don't believe this one came from Last Chance. This was either a Goodwill or a bins pickup, so I'm going to say I had under $7 into it. It was a size 0, so pretty small. It did sell for $70. That was I believe somebody offered me that, and it was like only a few dollars, maybe $10 off my asking price. I'm pretty sure didn't accept my offers to likers. Yes, because they don't have a shipping discount on this. I have updated my offers to likers system. I am now using Nifty as my bot because I was having problems with whatever I was using before, and so I just switched. it is more expensive, but I changed my tiered offers to likers. Pretty much everything in my closet, if you like it, you're going to get a 20% off offer, and then depending on the price of the item is how much of a shipping discount you would get. So this, they would have gotten 20% off with the $4.99 shipping. However, they sent me an offer, so I didn't have a shipping discount. My earnings on this dress were $56. I'm gonna say, like, just to keep it simple, let's say I had $6 into this from Goodwill, and that gave me a profit of $50. So here's the thing with bridesmaids dresses. There's a lot of things with bridesmaids dresses. If you're gonna pick them up, especially secondhand, there will be a chance that they have been altered. I have still sold altered bridesmaids dresses. This one was hemmed, actually, and you probably saw it in the pictures. In a picture I have that it was hemmed, and I show that it's 54 inches. Usually if the dress is still on the website, you can find the original length. Usually bridesmaids dress lengths are about 60 inches. They could be slightly over or under, but just for reference. So this one was 54 inches. I have sold many Jenny U dresses in the past, so I knew it had been hemmed. I also will check like waist and bust and see if those seem like they've been hemmed to me. So bridesmaid dresses do sell if they've been altered, but you do have to be pretty clear about all the alterations. Also, the thing with selling bridesmaid dresses from any brand is the color. I have sold bridesmaid dresses where they do not make the color anymore. In that case, it's probably not going to a bridesmaid, because you know the bride comes in and says, hey, I need you to get this dress in this color, or you can pick any style you want in this color. Like, the color is the most important thing for bridesmaid dresses. So make sure you can find the name of the color if you're going to sell it as a bridesmaid dress, not just, so this color was called Bluebell. So my title was, let me read my title to you, Jenny U Bluebell, because someone's going to be searching the color, Jenny U Bluebell Chiffon Martinique V-neck sleeveless bridesmaids gown. So Martinique would be the style. So I will say the color for bridesmaids dresses is likely way more important than the style. I can't say this for sure, but if someone's searching for a bridesmaid's dress on the secondhand market, they're likely like the color Bluebell. They know they need that color from Jenny U, so they're just like Jenny U Bluebell bridesmaid's dress. And maybe they know what style they want, but maybe they don't. So color, very important for selling bridesmaids dresses. Also, I do sell bridesmaids dresses with flaws, usually more to the skirt than the bodice area. Like, if they've been used, they likely have drag marks on the hem. That's okay as long as they're not terrible, you know, use your discretion. Okay, maybe I think that was my rant for bridesmaids dresses for this video. I have said all this information in the past, but it's just color, very important for selling bridesmaids dresses. Okay, so next up, Saturday the 17th, I sold this Marmot, is that how you say that, right? Marmot coat, and it sold on an offer for $42. Again, this is something that I think I had like listed at $50. So if they had waited for my offers to likers, they would have gotten a better deal. But they sent me an offer, so I accepted. I picked this up at the bins last year, and it actually sold for me relatively quickly. But unfortunately, the person messaged me after and was like, can you cancel? I realized it's not my sale. I am someone who does cancel 99% of the time if I have not shipped the item out, because like, I'll just resell it. Like, I know there are people who don't cancel. I have had one time where the person was like, I didn't realize that you're a reseller, so I need you to cancel this or something like that. And I was like, too bad, I already shipped it out. I didn't, but I was like, that's no, not a reason you get to cancel. So it sold for $42. I picked it up at the bins. My net earnings were $33.60. And usually when I get stuff at the bins, it's around $2. So this was over a $30 profit for me. Fantastic. I love the money that comes with selling coats. I hate listing coats, but when you can find them in the bins like this for $2, like, totally worth selling coats. Next up, oh, was that it for the 17th? This is January 18th. Yeah, so I only had 3 sales on the 17th, meaning that pretty much all my sales came on the 18th, Sunday the 18th. First sale on Sunday the 18th, I sold this Commando bodysuit. Commando is like a shapewear brand. Their leggings used to be pretty popular. I haven't sold a pair in a while, but Carrie handed this commando bodysuit to me at the bins and I picked it up. Now, the neckline had been altered, I believe, so that was disclosed in the listing. Hopefully there's not a problem with that when the person gets it. But I did have it priced lower for that reason. So I priced it at $25. They got my offer and they accepted for $20, giving me an earnings of 16. This came from the bins. Let's just say I profited like $14, which for me, I'm happy with a bins flip, especially for that bodysuit, super lightweight. And that did sell relatively quickly, like maybe in a week and a half. That was like my first quick flip of the video. But now we are moving on to a few more quick flips. So the next sale on Sunday, January 18th, was this Cezanne sweater. This sold in under a week for $86. The person accepted my offers to likers. 2 weeks ago, maybe, I picked up 2 Cezanne sweaters from Buy Sell Trade. I take them bin stuff I get for cheap at thrift stores, and take their trade credit to buy high-end items like this. So, you know, New With Tags Urban Outfitter dress that I just can't sell, they'll buy from me, and then I can get Cezanne sweaters for cheap. Like, their price in the store is like $40, but I actually had $10 into this based on how much I had into the items I sold them. As I said, I picked up 2 of them. The first one sold within 2 hours of posting and it was flawed. I'll just throw it up here so you know. The first one sold for less because I missed some flaws on the back sleeves, but it still sold for like, what was it, $69? I don't have it pulled up on my screen. In 2 hours. So paid a little under 10 for both of these. So on this Cezanne sweater that sold, it took a few extra days to sell, but I did have it priced higher because there were no flaws. It sold for $86 with discounted shipping. How much did I offer? I did offer free shipping on this because I had it priced over $100. I'm gonna reevaluate. I might like boost up my free shipping to if an item sells for over $100, not if it's priced over $100 when they get the offer. So, but for this one, I did give them free shipping, meaning I got a net earnings of $62.31. I paid, as I said, about $10 for this sweater after all the math I have to keep track of when I sell them things. So that gave me an earnings of about $52 in less than a week, and sold both those Cezanne sweaters for about $90 profit combined on items that I can't sell myself on Poshmark. So I love buying from Buy Sell Trade. If you're curious, if you haven't seen, I do have those videos on my channel. Actually, these Cezanne sweaters I did film. I'm going to do like a 90-day update on items I picked up from Buy Sell Trade, and actually most of the items I've picked up in January have been doing fantastic. Next sale, Sunday the 18th, I sold these Beyond Yoga leggings. These were the out-of-pocket style. Carrie handed these to me at the bins. I don't know why she didn't want them. Oh, if you don't know, Carrie is my friend. We met years ago through Instagram, and since they opened a bins location in my area a few years ago, she started coming up here. So we hang out at the bin sometimes. She gives me lots of stuff, which I'm very grateful for. She handed me these Beyond Yoga leggings. They did need a little bit of a sweater shave in the crotch, but other than that, they were good condition. I think I posted them around $40 because like the classic Beyond Yoga styles can do very well, especially in this like space dye buttery fabric. And these were a size large. The person I remember, I think they sent me a $25 offer, and I was like, so I countered at $31 and they accepted. So didn't have to pay a shipping discount. I got a net earnings of $24.80. They sold in a few days. I paid bins pricing, so I made over $20 profit. About like $22 on those. The rest of the sales are Sunday the 18th, so I'm going to stop saying the date. I sold these Anthropologie Pilcrow high-rise bootcut jeans. I picked these up in December. I got them on half off day at Savers. I think I maybe paid like $6 for them. I'm assuming $5-6. Let's just go with $6. They were a little bit older of a Pilcrow Anthropologie style. I believe they have like the letterpress scratched out, if you know what I'm talking about. I'm just looking. Yeah, so they did. They have the Pilcrow, and then it says and the letterpress, and then it has the like stitched out over it. They got rid of that a couple years ago, so they were an older style, but since they were a high-rise boot cut, and then they had like patchwork kind of carpenter, would you say that? Like stitched pockets. I thought they were a good trendy style, and they were also size 32, so I picked them up. They sold for $30. That wasn't offers to Likers. Someone accepted it because they got a shipping discount. So after all the fees, shipping discount, I got a net earnings of $22.50. That gives me a profit of about $16. I like when my profits are over 20, but I'm also okay with those like $14, $16 profits because they add up, and those moved fast. Didn't sit on them for like even a month. Now we do the complete opposite. Onto an item I've had for a while. I picked up this naked wardrobe crop top thing from Last Chance. Naked Wardrobe isn't a brand I recommend picking up. Hold on, I'm gonna check my closet and see how much of it I've sold. I come across a lot of it from Last Chance. Why is it not searching? That's actually really annoying me. Poshmark, I hate you. I used to love you and now I hate you. So I've actually sold the same naked wardrobe piece before on Poshmark. I can't tell you if I have any more listed right now because Poshmark won't search naked wardrobe in my closet, but I have sold this piece for $15. The reason this one sold for less is likely because there was a manufacturing flaw where the seam didn't lay flat. It was slightly twisted, so I disclosed it. I got a $10 offer. I accepted because it had a manufacturing flaw, size extra small, and from a brand that doesn't do that great for me. My earnings were at $7.05. Let's just say I paid $3 for this because I usually can get this pretty cheap at Last Chance. That gave me a profit of $4. But I'm just glad it's out of my house and I didn't lose money. I still did profit. I used to always pass naked wardrobe when I came across it at Last Chance. The reason I picked up a few pieces to try is I heard another reseller say it was popular because the Kardashians were wearing it for a bit. I wouldn't recommend picking it up, but if you come across it, either search out the exact style or don't pay more than a couple bucks for it if you want to try it out. Okay, next up, I sold these, I think they were We the Free People velvet jeans pants. I picked these up at the bins actually for buy sell trade. Buy sell trade, yeah, they were We the Free. Buy sell trade passed on them at multiple locations. They did have some wear, so maybe that's why. Also they were skinny leg, maybe that's why. I thought they would pick them up just because like that whimsy goth vampire style, I don't know, I thought they'd want them. They didn't, so instead of donating them back, I did list them myself. I listed them back in December before Christmas because I was hoping they would sell for Christmas. They didn't, but they sold now for $18. I think it was an offer to Likers, so that gave me a net earnings of $14.04. And I had likely no cost of goods into this because I had put all the cost of goods that I spent on those bin items into what I purchased from buy sell trade. I feel like it's a little bit hard to explain how I get my cost of goods for my buy sell trade items if you haven't done it before, but I keep track of everything. And if these aren't out of my spreadsheet, then it means that I have no cost of goods, which I don't think I do. So we're going to say I have a profit of $14.40 on these. And in less than a month for an item I wasn't planning on selling, you know, I'm happy with that. Next up, I have a lingerie sale. I sold this Thistle Inspire thong. I think it was 2 years ago. I got a wholesale box, 40 pieces of Thistle Inspire from, what are they called now? New Source and U-Source. They used to be Helpsy Source when I was working with them. I had a discount code. I don't use them anymore, so especially since they've rebranded, I can't recommend them or not recommend them. Anyway, this box was pretty bad. When they came out, I looked up the brand. I was like, oh my gosh, this expensive lingerie brand sold on Revolve and Nordstrom, maybe. Is it Nordstrom? I don't know. Definitely Revolve, Hot Topic. No. Dolls Kill. Dolls Kill, Revolve, sought after, whatever. But the thing is that everybody got the same liquidation pieces, which is the risky run with liquidation. So I've slowly been selling these off for like the last 2 years. I relisted this and another piece. I was like, let me see if I can like get these out for Valentine's Day maybe. So these were relist and they did sell maybe a week after relisting them. However, they only sold for $12 and I had $8.50 into each piece. So I made a 55-cent profit. But at this point, I'm glad to not completely lose money and get these out of my house. because I still have a few styles with these. Relisting did help that out though, so I should go back through my closet and relist some other ones. Next, this was surprising to me that it sold because it's a summery piece and I've been sitting on it forever. It is a Nick plus Zoe. I've always said Nick and Zoe. It might be Nick and Zoe, I don't know. Like watercolor print tank top, size extra large. I picked this up at Last Chance. This brand has done like okay for me in the past, and then I heard resellers like back when I picked it up saying like, hey, like this brand actually does pretty well in like extra large plus sizes, which if you're gonna pick it up, definitely stick to those bigger sizes. However, this extra large tank top still sat for me for years, and I probably had it overpriced and just never came back to it and discounted / relisted. But someone did send me an offer for $25. So that's just telling me I had this price too high, because it should have probably been priced at like $20, but they sent me a $25 offer. I accepted. My net earnings were $20. I probably paid about $5 for this, so made a profit of $15. This is an item that I would pretty much not pick up at all anymore. If I came across it in the bins, maybe I'd consider it, but I'm super glad that moved for $25. We're down to the last two sales. Second to last sale was also a Thistle inspired piece that I relisted hoping to get it moved for Valentine's Day, and it did. I mean, I don't know if it sold because Valentine's Day is coming up, but the relist helped move this out. Now this was a garter belt neck choker thing and this one sold for $14. I think that was my offers to likers. On smaller dollar sales, I don't offer discounted shipping, so my net earnings were $11.05, giving me a profit of like $2-ish. Again, just glad to get this moved out. Oh gosh, and I do still have some of these available in different sizes, so I am probably going to go back through and like slowly relist a few of them, hopefully get new eyes on them for Valentine's Day. Okay, and the last sale of the weekend of this video. I sold this LoveShackFancy dress. I picked this up at Buy Sell Trade last winter. I had it listed at $140, and maybe a week after listing, I got an offer for like $75, and I was like, I just listed it. I think I can get more. So I countered them maybe like 105 or something. They never responded. They ghosted me. Totally fine. However, I did sit on it for a year, and I will say I was out of the country for 6 months, so my sister was working for me for a few months there, but you know, stuff didn't really have the chance to sell like it would have if I was working full-time. Hard to say if it would have sold before now or not if I was actually working full-time, but it did sit in my closet for about a year, so I got an offer for $99, and in my head, as soon as I saw an offer that came through in this piece, I was like, if it's over $80, I'm taking it. So I did accept this $99 offer. Super happy to move it out. LoveShackFancy, obviously a high-end brand. I have not figured out which pieces are worth paying up for. This did sell for $99, but it took so long to sell that I wouldn't feel comfortable paying up for it again. I actually don't remember how much I paid for this. I'm gonna see if I can find it in my spreadsheet real quick. Oh, okay, here it is. So with like my subsidized cost from the bins, I paid $12.33 for this dress. So a good profit, about $67 profit on this piece. I'm super happy with that. It did sit for a year. I was out of the country for 6 months. So even if it took like 6 months to sell and I made almost $70 profit, I'd be very happy with that. I'm just like still like LoveShackFancy makes me uncomfortable because I've had a pieces like sit for me for a long time, and I know some of them, like I've come across pieces at Buy Sell Trade where I've checked comps and it's like $30, so I'm like, I don't know, afraid of paying up for the brand. However, I did happen to pick up a piece at Buy Sell Trade a few weeks ago. It hasn't sold yet. I don't know, we'll see in the update video in a couple months if it sells. And guys, that was the last piece for this video. Those were my weekend sales, the weekend sales of a reseller, you know, really trying to get my income back up to where it used to be as a full-time reseller, if not better, because I'd really love to buy a house one day. Also, I'm paying insurance now because I'm 26, not on my parents' insurance anymore, and I'm self-employed. So that's like $350 down the drain. This was it for this weekend sales video. If you want to share any sales you're happy with or sales that you're just breaking even, like, hey, don't pick this up, feel free to leave it in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what's selling for you guys, and I hope to see you guys in my next video very soon. Bye!